back. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well.
It says we're live. I don't know.
Oh, does it now?
I don't know if it's lying, but yeah.
It
Our
says we're
webinar
live.
is live on YouTube. I'm gonna pop out the
Poop
chat.
out that chat.
Pooping it out.
Gross.
Oh, my bad.
Pooping. Party pooba.
What?
Party pooba.
All right. We're gonna dive right in.
Like not even do an
Face
intro.
first.
Just
Let's dive right in. No intro.
what?
No,
So
let's
CJ,
have
what
an
you been
intro.
playing?
Let's have an intro.
We got no time for an intro.
I feel like we should have an intro.
No time.
Okay.
Hello and welcome.
I was waiting for that.
I mean, someone's got to do it.
Hello and welcome to episode 742 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, January 26th, 2021. I am your host, Chris Johnston, and with me, as always, from Canada is Mr. Greg Seward.
Hello.
How's it going, sir?
It is effing cold here, let me tell you.
Yeah?
It's cold.
Okay.
And I've been
Got
spending
snow?
time today. We got snow.
We got
Effing.
snow, okay.
Stands for freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stands
What's
for
the Fahrenheit
Fahrenheit.
show? What? Well, no.
Oh,
no.
it's so cold. It's in Fahrenheit.
Yeah, that's pretty cold.
That's very cold.
I don't know. What's
Yeah.
cold in Fahrenheit?
Well, freezing
Well,
in Fahrenheit is 32.
32.
It doesn't make
Hey.
any sense. What is wrong with your country?
You know what? Fahrenheit is the least of our country's problems at the moment.
Yeah, but I mean,
Let's-
you know what? Let's
Wow.
let's
Wow.
fix the small
Let's-
problems. Sort of build up some momentum.
Having a stupid temperature for water to freeze.
We
Boy,
have
if
enough
that-
problems just trying to get people to wear masks, okay?
If that,
You
if
want us
remembering
to change-
32,
Don't bring your
When I'm-
socialism down here.
when I'm
right.
when I'm looking at the weather forecast,
I'm
I'm just
Yeah.
kidding, by the way,
learning about
What are you
magazines
just-
I contributed to once.
what are you just kidding
online.
about?
about bringing socialism down here. Bring it. Come on. I want Canadian healthcare. I want
We're
the
not
Celsius.
socialists.
Just-
I mean, that's,
Oh my
I know. I'm kidding.
The-
Bring Canadian policies down here. I'm
the
happy.
keep your
I'd be
politics
happy
out of my
with that.
gaming podcast people
so
are going to
you're
be
so
real angry tonight.
you're
They're
asking
already
you're
switching
asking
it
for the
off.
French language policy mostly, right? Where everything needs to
Mostly,
be in English
yes.
and French
We.
packaged in. I was I've been spending some time this week organizing the game room, and I've started to get some of the packaging up on, or some of the game packaging up on the shelves.
Yeah.
And I was organizing my 360 games, and I came across my copy of Le Bois Orange.
That,
The
of
orange
course, is French
For Halo 3.
Halo 3. Combat
yeah.
Evolved.
No, but it was a famously, because we have laws about French language on packaging and everything up
Yeah.
here, and that was one that was famously not only had French added to the packaging, but it was the primary language on the packaging.
Was it really?
Yeah. So there, I remember a big up because the internet got upset about it. Surprisingly enough.
Wait,
and
the
yeah,
internet
there was a big
got
uproar
upset about
that.
things prior to 2010?
Yeah.
I just want to play some Team Fortress Part 2. I like to play the heavy. He is the strongest Team Fortress man.
The Eve is the closest you've come to a real French accent in 14 years. And it's still not that good.
Les Spy,
There
Les
you go.
Heavy, Les Scouts.
Le Scout, really?
I am sure there are other Team Fortress Part 2 classes, but I have not played the game enough to know.
And joining me from the great state of Washington, Mr. Phil Theobald.
Les poissons. Now I love les poissons.
Le poisson est sur la table.
Dana and I,
Yeah.
Dana, my long-suffering wife,
Oh my God, that poor lady.
We have been.
Already.
She had a birthday recently, didn't she?
What's that?
She had a birthday recently, didn't she?
No, we both did.
No,
Yeah,
we're talking about Dana.
We
It doesn't
were
always
born-
have to be about you, Phil.
I mean,
we're talking about Dana.
It does,
No,
though.
you make it about you, but it doesn't have to be about you.
Okay. Yes. Her birthday was on January 20th. A mere 6 days after mine.
See, again.
After my birthday.
Imagine that. Yeah.
Our parents like to bone at approximately the same time of the year.
Jesus.
Is what we've learned from that.
They pushed the beds together around the same time the previous year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
No.
hear, by the way, our chat is not working for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I just assumed that we were so boring no one was saying anything.
I mean,
that's-
This is a pretty good chance.
I just got a Discord message. from
We
Captain
were
Logan.
we were watching, or we are watching. We're doing a slow rewatch of Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
a good show.
Uh-huh.
It's an amazing show.
Starts out a little
absolutely-
slow though.
Well,
I
it
found.
well, you know what? It does start off a little slow. We just started season 3, which is when it really kicks into like,
Yeah.
we're now
They
we're
really
hyperdrive.
sort of, it felt like the writers and the producers decided, you know what, hell with it. We're just gonna
Oh,
go
absolutely.
for it. We're stuck in this one fixed point in space.
Yep.
Let's just make the most of it.
Yeah. That's when they, because I mean, the first 2 seasons, they're not bad.
No,
Far from it. They're actually really damn good, and probably some of the best like first 2 seasons of a Star Trek show. Period. But it's season 3 where it really kicks off into kind of like the big, long storylines and season long arcs and stuff. But I remembered the other day when we were watching it that the guy who sings the Les Poissons song from Little Mermaid
Mhm.
is in Deep Space Nine.
Oh,
Not
I
just
didn't
in
know.
Deep Space Nine, one of the main characters.
Can I tell you something?
What's
I've
that?
never seen The Little Mermaid.
Oh, it's quite good.
I know.
You've never
but I
seen
don't.
The Little Mermaid?
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
By the way, I learned this past weekend that you have a list of movies that your friend Ryan has not seen.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm gonna make a list of movies that you haven't seen. And
Seems
Little
weird.
Mermaid.
Why are you
Context there.
curating this list?
No.
Little,
Okay,
Little Mermaid is
a
going to
little
be
bit of
on my
context
list for you.
A little bit of context. Ryan is a baby
Like a literal
young
compared
baby?
to us. He's
youngster.
He's like 12 years younger than us.
Okay.
So we were, and he, so
Whippersnapper.
when he and his wife moved here from Ontario last year, his wife moved here a little bit earlier, but they both moved here, and they were living down in our apartment downstairs.
Right.
And we've known each other quite a long time. We're both extra lifers. We met years and years ago. Anyway, so he was sort of living with us, and we were just sort of chatting about movies because I had my DVD collection out or something like that. And I would pull out like, oh yeah, this is a great movie. And he's like, never seen it. And so, oh, this is an awesome movie. I've never seen it.
Give me an example of one of these.
Something like, say, like the Lethal Weapon movies.
Okay.
Anything that came out, I find anything that came out like 95 and earlier,
Right.
he hasn't really seen a lot of.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we decided we should do some movie nights, and we
Right.
started to curate a list because there's also specific, like they don't like horror. So
Okay.
we're not going to be watching, stuff like that. So we've never actually gotten around to doing the movie nights, but that's where the list came from. The list exists. It's not this random thing that I created.
Okay.
It was
I'm just
okay.
picturing
It's
you
a
rifling
list.
through his trash.
No, it's a list of movies that I feel like he and his wife would probably enjoy.
Really?
Yeah.
And then I say, like, here you go. And then they ask questions about it. But if we haven't gotten to the point of actually watching it because he's spending too much time playing Sea of Thieves with you.
That's
to
right.
spend any time with his actual real life friends. So
I'm a real life friend. Hey,
Yep.
I care.
I know you do.
I do.
I wouldn't argue that. But
And
Okay.
Greg,
Hmm.
it's Odo. Odo is in Little Mermaid, singing about how he
Renee
wants to murder.
Aubergenois?
Renee, what's it? Because he has a very French
Yeah, I think it's
last name.
Aubergenois.
Aubergenois.
Not like how you said it, but yes.
Something like
From Benson.
Yes.
From Benson.
Yes.
That's how I remember him.
Yes.
Benson.
He was in
Yes.
Benson.
But yeah. He's in Little Mermaid. You know what? We were watching sometime earlier this week. We were watching an
Benson?
episode. No, we
Mr.
were not.
Belvedere?
No, we were watching.
Mr. Belvedere. I remember
We were
watching that
watching-
every week.
We were watching Star Trek Deep Space Nine,
Mr. Belvedere is not in that.
and there was a Klingon. I believe it was a Klingon, and he was giving a big monologue, and I was just like, "Holy crap!" I know that
voice.
I recognize this voice. This guy, and I was like, this guy has to be a voice actor because his voice had that kind of that gravitas, that kind of bombastic quality that a voice actor's voice has.
Was it
Yeah.
Frank Welker?
No, it was not Frank. I would have known.
I know that.
Yeah, because he would have been talking like Megatron or
Was
Freddy
it
from Scooby-Doo.
Keith David?
No,
Keith David?
no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't Keith David. Because again, Keith
No.
David, you can recognize immediately.
A mile away.
But
Yeah.
I forget the actor's name, but it was the guy who. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh crap! Obviously, this is who it was. And I actually rewound the scene. I was like, Dana, listen to this scene. Close your eyes. Tell me what
Tell me
voice
who
it
this
was.
is.
This is the dude who did Mr. Freeze on Batman. the
Oh
animated
wow, that
series.
was pretty. Yeah, that's
And I mean, he was just revenge is a dish
Yeah.
best served. It was
Yeah.
exactly the
Pretty
Mr.
distinct
Freeze
voice.
voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But not hearing it coming out of or seeing it coming out of a.
I still wish I could get that series for less than $100.
That's crazy.
Oh.
And
That's crazy.
yeah, I know it always goes on sale down
Yeah,
there.
so
but
it's-
it
yeah, it's
does
constantly
not
on
go
sale down here.
up here.
Man,
That's a shame.
how much would it be to like import a Blu-ray set? Is it just that?
Probably, and honestly, it probably would be a lot less.
Yeah.
but I just
Yeah.
have never really,
Yeah.
bitten.
Haven't done it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, all right.
Okay.
But apparently, there's actually a decent documentary on YouTube right now about the making of the Batman animated series.
Oh, is that right?
I guess
Oh,
it's
really?
free.
Hmm.
I had it recommended to me. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but sometime this
Okay.
week I'm definitely gonna check it
Okay.
out.
That's a good show. It's a good show. Did
Okay.
you ever watch Batman Beyond?
I watched a couple
That
episodes
was a
of
good
that.
show too.
It's also really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's worth actually sitting through because it's
Yeah.
it's also quite good. Well,
Okay.
yeah, all that the Justice League cartoon, the Superman.
Warner Brothers
cartoon,
was doing
the-
some real good stuff with
that whole.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers does great DC content.
Oh yeah,
Too bad it doesn't translate into the
It's all-
live action movies
yeah.
so much, but
yeah. All those like kind of Bruce Timm, Paul Dini shows are
Mm.
pretty great.
It's true.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about some video game news.
Yeah.
Let's just kick it off with what happened on Friday. How about it?
What happened on Friday?
Microsoft announced pricing changes for Xbox Live Gold. Did you hear about this?
Oh yeah, I did see this. Yeah.
And then a few hours later, they announced that they were reversing that and would
they-
not actually increase the
Did
price.
they double the price?
They effectively doubled the price. So here's how
Okay.
it goes.
Okay.
Their proposal was the changes were the 1 month gold and 3 month gold were only increasing by $1 and $5 respectively.
Okay.
But
okay. So $20 a year.
yeah,
If you
wait,
go
20
3
bucks
months.
a year.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, if you go 3 by 3 by 3, I was getting at, but
Yeah, only increased by that much.
Okay.
But if you were a subscriber that did 6 month or 12 month,
Mhm.
they were basically getting rid of the previous discount
Okay.
that those had. So effectively, those doubled in price from what they were previously.
Hmm.
So the new price was going to be 6 months would be $60. That's the previous price for the year price.
Okay.
And 1 year was going to be 120. Actually, I don't even think they were offering a 12-month plan, but you'd have to buy 2 6 months, and those would be $120.
Hmm.
And people
Okay.
got upset.
well, I mean, if you're doubling the price, it would absolutely get upset. About that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm an idiot. We know
Yep.
that.
We
Yep.
know this. Yes.
Continue. We're with you so far.
So you have Xbox Live,
Yeah. Xbox Live Gold. Yeah.
Xbox Live Gold, which is what they were increasing. Now
Mhm.
you have the Game Pass.
Yeah.
Which is a separate fee. So you have to you pay for Xbox Live Gold, and you have to pay for Game Pass, right?
No.
No.
So
this is confusing.
It's very
What's really
confusing.
confusing is
Yeah.
I'm paying for some of this. I'm giving
You're paying for
Microsoft
some of
money
this.
every
Yes.
month for something.
Yeah.
Or
So Game Pass
annually.
Ultimate is Game Pass for both Xbox and PC, and it includes Xbox Live Gold.
Yeah, well, because there's Game Pass, but then there's Game Pass Ultimate, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
And Game Pass Ultimate includes
Xbox
Live
Live Gold. Yeah.
Plus the PC stuff.
Plus the PC stuff.
Okay.
And that by itself, Xbox Live Gold Game Pass.
See?
It's already
See?
confusing.
Game Pass Ultimate for a year is $120 by itself. Ultimate, which includes
Ultimate,
gold.
Which includes gold. So
you could pay for Xbox Live Gold. The year price, the 12-month price is $120, or you can get Game Pass Ultimate, which is also $120.
So this was just a scheme to get people signed up for Game Pass Ultimate.
I think that's how a lot of people are portraying this, and that probably is what this was. Yeah.
Okay.
To basically make it less of a value to just be subscribed to Live Gold.
Right.
The problem being that there are players who just want Xbox Live Gold. They don't want to pay for Game Pass, don't play enough games
right
for Game Pass. They just want to be able to play Fortnite, Call of Duty, some sports game like online, so they get like a discounted rate.
Were you trying to name a sports game and you couldn't, so you just had to say online?
You're right.
A sports game like
NBA
Smash
2K,
TV.
that's the thing, right?
Is that a
Smash TV? Right.
That was kind of a
NBA
sport.
Jam.
Yeah,
you're playing your Bulls versus Blazers.
Oh yeah,
online. Yeah. Where was I going with this? And yeah, so they didn't want to pay the $120 a year. They wanted to pay whatever the price was for gold previously. Right. And obviously that $60 price, that was the previous like retail price. Those got discounted by a lot. Oftentimes you could get pretty good deals and then stack them. So you had multiple years of gold for less than the going price.
Yeah.
So yeah, Xbox a couple hours later, it was announced at 6 a.m. and they reversed it at 8:52 p.m. Pacific.
when you have to break down the backpedaling to like an hourly basis. They announced this at 6 a.m.
It was the same day. They announced it at 6 a.m. Yeah. And
right.
It took until about 9 p.m. at night.
Right.
Reverse.
It's almost like they were testing the waters to see how people would react.
But I don't think so. No, because the night before, people were already talking about this because cards had shown up at retail.
Yeah, they were like physical redemption cards. Yeah.
Okay. So they weren't floating this.
All right.
Yeah.
They were really going to do this. And yeah, I think the reason is to try to push people to Game Pass. I don't think that was the right way to do it at all. Like if you want to do that, just get rid of Xbox Live Gold entirely.
And Game Pass, we should stress, is fantastic.
Game Pass is pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
Game Pass is an incredible deal.
Sony should really put together a service like that.
It's rumored that they are. It's rumored that they are in addition to PlayStation Now.
I wasn't being serious. That was just from Mike Phillips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Sony?
There's some rumor that they're trying to come up with some kind of service to match what Game Pass offers.
So are they like reworking, what is it, PlayStation Now?
PlayStation Now, yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Subscribe to because they got it for like $40 a year.
If they started putting on new games along with what's already on PlayStation Now,
they're not going to do that.
I'm just saying, if they did,
I would subscribe to
kill
that
Game Pass.
Yeah. Yeah. Certainly would. So yeah, they reversed course, which is good. Like I'm glad to see that they, admitted that they made a mistake, and as part of this, even they pre-announced that they are going to make free-to-play games free on Xbox Live. Prior to this, you had to pay for Live Gold to play any free-to-play games online as well, which is not the case on PlayStation or Switch. So this is it's good that they backpedaled. It's good that they listened. I kind of can't believe that it got to this point where like yeah, you're gonna double the price of your service and you didn't expect like a large backlash. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, at least they backpedaled pretty quick.
They backpedaled, and that's the good thing. Yeah. And we're getting free-to-play games for free on Xbox. So that's good.
I'm not, because I'm paying for Xbox Live. Xbox Game Pass, but
some people are, sure. Yeah. Some people are, sure. All right. So there's a rumor that Apple is going to make a VR AR headset, but a very niche headset, like a very apparently very expensive. So if you're thinking that this headset's going to be competitive to the Oculus Quest, you can forget about that. The rumor is that it's going to be much more expensive than current, like,
that's weird.
VR
I'm surprised to see Apple releasing a product that is unnecessarily expensive.
I know, right? The rumor is that so apparently people inside Apple think the company may only sell one headset per day at each of their retail stores.
Okay.
To just kind of give you an idea of what they think they're going to sell of this thing. So yeah, like a gaming focused VR thing from Apple that's going to be super pricey. Apparently the headset itself is made of fabric. Apparently it has fans to cool the battery off. So
it's made of fabric.
It's made of fabric. Yeah, actually Google's VR headset that I'm forgetting the name of right now, theirs was made of fabric as well. Like the eyepiece or whatever, the part that you put to your face, had fabric. It was made of fabric, so it was more comfortable to wear.
Okay.
Yeah.
The whole thing's not made of fabric. It's not like someone is crocheting a VR headset.
The thing that you put to your face is fabric.
Right.
Right. You mean the monitor, the display is not made of fabric.
Yeah.
It's still made of.
Well, don't say it's made of fabric when it's not made of fabric.
Okay. They're planning to use a fabric exterior. Is that better?
Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes. A VR cozy.
A VR cozy, exactly.
Yeah. Just like grandma makes and sells on Etsy. It's gonna be
I have a hard time taking a lot of Apple gaming related rumors seriously, because I don't feel like I love Apple. Let's get that straight. First of all, if you've listened to 15 years of this show, you know that I love Apple. But
really,
I don't take any. They really don't get gaming. They don't. There are people inside Apple who do. Apple is a company in general. They don't get gaming. They don't really see gaming as a core business part of their business. So if they're doing like a gaming focused headset or like a VR headset, I don't know. Probably won't be successful. I mean, of course, if they're pricing it if they're pricing it double, it probably won't be successful anyway. But anyway, let's move on. Because Activision has bought Vicarious Visions and is making it basically an in-house studio.
Activision bought Vicarious Visions in 2005.
Okay.
Blizzard is absorbing Vicarious Visions now. That's a big difference.
Please correct me.
I saw you put that on the outline, and I was just like, oh, wait a minute. That's not right. They've been an Activision studio for like 15 years.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Greg is like, I saw you put that on the outline.
Yeah, so I figured I'd wait until the show to correct you.
But instead of correcting it, I'm going to make you look like a fool.
Yep.
The fool you are.
That's the contribution I have for this news section. I had to say that because I had nothing else to say.
I'm okay with it. Yeah. People are upset about this in part because Vicarious Visions did the work on Tony Hawk 1 and 2. And people were expecting maybe that would continue, like there would be more Tony Hawk stuff because of the success of those games. And apparently the word is that Vicarious Visions is now going to be a support studio for Blizzard titles. So
yeah. And I think they're basically, are they disappearing? Are they just being absorbed into Blizzard? Like, I think to me, that seemed to be one of the reasons why people were upset, because it's not really going to exist as a studio anymore. I think.
Right.
I could be wrong.
So,
but I was right about them buying it in
into
2005.
Blizzard.
so they did
You're
the
right.
Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we know they're good at duology remakes.
They also did the
And now they're doing
in-
support for Blizzard. Lost Vikings 1 and 2 coming soon to modern day
I don't think
consoles.
that's even remotely
I
what's
think
happening.
that's probably.
I think we already know that they were doing a Diablo 2 remake
Oh yes, yes.
or something along those lines. I think this is what they were working on before this happened.
right.
So
Yeah.
I think it's more of an example of, I mean, it took 15 years or 16 years, more of an example of a gigantic company buying a developer or development house that has a good name
Yeah.
and
then merging them.
merging them, which sucks.
Yeah.
Because they really sort of built a name for themselves. They Treyarch did good stuff, does good stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You said Treyarch.
what did I? Well, sorry,
Vicarious Visions.
Vicarious Visions.
Treyarch's a different company.
All the previous Tony Hawk developers all blur together for me.
They all do good work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Vicarious Visions is good work. So
All right. I'm guessing I'm the only one who watched the Resident Evil showcase.
there was a Resident Evil showcase.
Resident Evil showcase, yeah. They talked about Resident Evil Village, talked about Reverse. Reverse. Yeah, it's a new Resident Evil multiplayer online game that'll come free for purchasers of Resident Evil Village.
Okay.
And they talked about a new Netflix series as well. It's coming.
About
soon.
Mega
live action.
No, CG.
Okay.
And then they talked about the release date on Resident Evil Village is in May, and they released a demo for PlayStation 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I guess we'll talk about the demo a little bit later. But
So what's the RE-verse?
so that's a multiplayer game that is like combining the various timelines and characters from the series, bringing them all into one shooter. And like the first couple things they showed, it was like Claire was they were all shooting at each other. I was like, but they shoot at zombies, not at each other. It was very weird. But
Except in the RE-verse.
This is like
in RE-verse.
This is like Star Wars Masters of Terraskazi, where Princess Leia has to fight Chewbacca for
fighting
dominance.
Han Solo. What?
Yeah, well, perhaps you didn't see the movie Solo, in which Chewbacca and Han Solo fought each other when they first met before becoming the fast friends we know them today. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
he had to get back to Lumpy for Life Day, so
it's true. Han Solo in the Solo movie, Greg, since you've not seen it, we find out
that part actually.
Not only did he get his made-up name, Han Solo, but he also met his lifelong friend Chewbacca. He also won his famous starship, the Millennium Falcon, and completed the famous Kessel Run, all within like a week.
Wow, it's like his entire history was compressed into a single.
I think he got his iconic weapon during that week as well. So,
God, I hate those movies. I shouldn't say that. Rogue One I really liked, but
I'm in the market for a new vest. Before I take this Kessel Run, maybe I'll go to the vest shop and see. Maybe there's a vest vendor.
Maybe
a wayward
I haven't
Gungan.
seen it either.
Wayward Gungan.
All right, should we get into what you've been playing?
I don't know.
Sure.
I think we should.
Why not?
I'll go first. So I watched Insert Coin this week.
I've got to watch that.
This is not what you've been watching.
Sui's documentary about 80s and 90s era Midway games.
What is this on?
It's on I think it's on everything now. I bought it on iTunes.
You can buy it from them. You can buy physical versions now too.
Okay. So is it a movie or a series?
It is a movie.
Okay.
It is a near 2-hour documentary.
Okay.
that goes into a lot of the games, but not all of the games from 80s and 90s Midway.
Okay.
There are a few missing, including NFL Blitz, which is
that's too bad.
omission. But they go into NBA Jam and all that stuff. It starts off talking about Eugene Jarvis and Defender, and how he was kind of a wonderkind and their star designer. And they talk about what happened after video games crashed and how Williams Electronics basically let Eugene Jarvis do whatever he wanted to do, basically unsupervised. Like the entire strategy of Williams and Midway became, let's have these teams of super creative people and let them do whatever they want.
Man, did it work.
And man, did it work.
They were releasing amazing games in the late 80s and early 90s.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
My God.
True. It's very true. And, it goes into why they ended up using digitized graphics.
Yeah.
It was apparently in part because a lot of Japanese arcade games had such detailed, beautiful visuals that in America, we just didn't have the budget to do any of that. So they used live actors and digitized graphics instead.
And changed the
Certainly
whole industry.
Changed the whole industry, yeah. Starting with Narc and moving on to everything else.
I loved Narc.
They talk about the making of Narc. They talk about Smash TV.
Yeah.
They talk about all the biggies, and they talk about Revolution X as well.
Oh, wow.
That.
Oh, yeah, that happened.
Wow.
It's a really interesting documentary. It's really great, especially because they took a lot of footage during those days. So they have like a lot of, they just filmed a lot of the making of these games. And there's like a pitch video for NBA Jam that they show a little bit of, to pitch the NBA on the idea of having a licensed game. And it's just a super interesting, they basically goes game by game and they cover about 10 or so games.
It's very cool.
In the catalog, including War Gods and Revolution X. And then they end it talking about the Grid, which is, if you've never played the Grid,
I forgot about the Grid.
It's an Ed Boon designed game after Mortal Kombat 3 or maybe 4. And it's a multiplayer deathmatch game in the arcade. So like it's
I remember that.
Yeah.
It had, the machines had to be sold in like 3 and 6 machine layouts. So not a lot of arcades had them, but I remember it being a pretty decent game. It just never,
it was third person, right?
Yeah. Third person game. Never got the attention it deserved. I think nobody played it.
I think I ordered the Blu-ray of this when they announced that they were selling them on their website. I went and I think it shipped right away. I don't remember if it was a pre-order or if it's already on its way. But and just sort of this reminds me too, because Boss Fight Books released a book about NBA Jam, I think last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I seem to remember seeing the author of that call out that is going to be made into a documentary as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And apparently that's a fantastic book.
Enough. I think there's certainly enough to
just
do something on NBA Jam. There was a GDC talk 2 or 3 years ago that was talking about the making of NBA Jam, and it was just super interesting to read.
Well, it would be, because I mean that was
see their pitch.
That was such a different
video.
Approaching the NBA with an idea like that would be so different. Because I mean, the sports licensing was a thing, obviously, but not like that. Where you were just licensing like 1 or 2 players from each team, and yeah.
Well, and then they licensed all that stuff, and it was just not feasible for them to like get all of the players in their studio to take pictures. So they used a lot of like Sports Illustrated photos to digitize their faces and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty great, because they had to get them at like 16 different angles, right? They had to get their heads at 16 different angles.
I never thought about that, but that's good.
They had to like take whatever they could out of video footage or Sports Illustrated issues. Yeah, but a really interesting documentary, and it's available on everything, all digital platforms now. And like Greg said, available physically from their website, which I will link to in the show notes. I also played Hitman 3.
insertcoindoc.com is
There you
their
go.
website.
Insertcoindoc.com. Yes.
I'm looking at the IMDb page
Mm-hmm.
for this particular documentary, and apparently it features an appearance
I know what you're going to say.
by world-renowned author
Yes.
and expert on everything 80s, Ernest Cline.
It does include, Ernest Cline.
Really?
Yeah.
Interviewed in that. Yes.
Author of Ready Player 2.
Yes.
Yes. And the hit film
Apparently a huge fan of Midway's
Fanboys.
arcade games. Go figure.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, he had to play Joust in order to win the magic key to claim the whatever the virtual reality world was in that book.
Apparently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I also played a bunch of Hitman 3. So Hitman 3 was released last week. And if you haven't been following Hitman, the way that it is set up, it's basically a platform. So it's like Rock Band. And they've done like multiple iterations of Hitman, but you can bring in missions from Hitman 1 and 2 into 3, just like with 2, you could bring in missions from 1 into that game. So you can play through Hitman 1, 2, and 3 within 3 as long as you buy the mission packs, as long as you like buy the exports basically from the previous games. So it's an assassination platform, not just a Hitman video game.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So I bought Hitman 3 and then I proceeded
I'm holding off for Hitman Beatles.
Yeah.
Where
I'm waiting for Green Day Hitman.
You get to play as Mark David Chapman.
Yeah. Ouch. Wow.
Guy who
get it. Yeah.
Get it.
It's tasteless even all these years later.
Yeah. What you saying?
But anyway, so I bought Hitman 3 and then, of course, brought all the levels and stuff in from Hitman 1 and 2 and realized that I needed to play more of Hitman 1 and 2.
Oh.
And also I forgot how to just in general play, so I had to do the tutorial over again. And but I played through the Dubai level in Hitman 3. Since I don't really care about the story, so I'm just playing through levels randomly. But I skipped to the Hitman 3 levels.
Yeah.
Which starts off in Dubai.
Do you get to jump cars between gigantic towers in Dubai?
Oh.
Like in Fast and Furious?
Not quite, but it starts.
Lame.
So you skydive. First of all, you're skydiving onto this skyscraper, and the game starts you off. You're like
difficult,
precariously perched atop this like scaffolding, and you have to like get to the window washer's perch, and just the sense that you're really high up is done very well. I get a little bit of vertigo. The vertigo spins looking down. But anyway, you get safely inside the building, and then you have to assassinate 2 targets in the grand opening of the world's tallest skyscraper, which of course is in Dubai.
Yes.
And it's just a super fun game. I mean, they make these sandbox levels and they sort of set different events within them on timers so that you can like stumble into interesting things, and you don't have to complete each level in a certain way. You can really mix it up, and kind of gives you the freedom to do it any way that you want to within the game's own rules. And after you complete a level, you get a certain amount of XP, but it also shows you like the different like things that you could have done in that level as well. You can like look back at like, what if you attacked everybody with a banana, like one of MinMax's editors did the Dubai level, killing everybody in this launch party for this building with a banana.
It's like the end of the Clue movie where they give you all the here's what could have happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like each level is made to be replayed and enjoyed a different way, and it's just a really interesting game series. I like the way that they've handled everything, and looking forward to playing through. Hopefully, now playing through 3. Yeah. You guys probably have no interest in the Hitman games.
I really don't. I've tried them before, and I get that they're really good, but they're just not. They've never been my thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was playing today, and my daughter watched me play. She's really into the movie Clue. She loves Clue. She loves Among Us, and she loves like mysteries.
Phil and I are both sitting here judging you, by the way.
She's into it, and she was telling me how I should kill each target. It was great.
I mean, she should absolutely be into the movie Clue, because the movie Clue
judging
is
you for that.
Outstanding.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like Hitman is a little.
That might be a little,
Too much?
I don't think so. No.
For an 8-year-old, 9-year-old?
She's 9.
Oh, well, that makes all the difference.
That makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
And Hitman isn't terribly bloody for the most part. So
Look, you got to learn about Hitmen somewhere.
Yeah, yes.
Exactly.
Better the safety of your own home.
You can't send her out into the world not armed with the right information.
Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. And that's all I've been playing.
Well, all right.
So, Greg,
Hi.
what have you been playing?
I played the Maiden demo. It was really the only thing I played this week.
The Resident Evil Village PlayStation 5 exclusive Maiden demo.
So this is a demo of Resident Evil Village.
It's a visual. They're calling it a visual demo.
Okay.
You don't do a whole hell of a lot in it except
you can't do any attack.
There's some light, light puzzle elements.
Okay.
So like you start off in like a dungeon,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just that's the whole point. You need to escape the dungeon, and of course, then you realize you're in a house, and you try to get out of the house, and that's the end of the demo.
Okay.
But and there's a couple light puzzle elements, like you see chains on some doors, and one of them, of course, has a key that you need, so you need to find bolt cutters to that sort of thing.
Right.
2 or 3 step puzzles. So it came out on Thursday, and I stream on Thursday nights. So, and when I'm done streaming, it's about 11:30 my time. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, and I heard that this demo is about 15 minutes long, which, it's a little longer than that probably the first time you play it. If you play like me, which is creeping around and jumping at every single noise and water droplet and all that. So, excuse me. So I was like, well, I'm going to try it out. I want to try it out. So it's pitch black in the house. All the curtains are drawn and everything. And of course, because the kids are asleep, I'm wearing headphones. So I set the thing to, headphones, virtual surround and all that. I think I played it for about 3 minutes where I was just like, no, I'm going to play this in the daylight. So,
okay. That's good to know.
The sound design, man, and of course it is. It's Resident Evil, but it is so creepy.
Yeah.
Because you're just in this really deep, dark dungeon. There's very little light. Like you have a flashlight, but of course it's a video game flashlight, so it's sort of very pinpointed light. And so I played it again the next day, and it's beautiful, but some of the elements are kind of plasticky looking, which I'm not sure I'm crazy about. But I mean, especially when you get up into the main house, though, like it's this beautifully designed sort of old style mansion. And of course, one of the things that they do is the house isn't empty, obviously, but you don't see whoever it is that's in the house. They do a lot of, you turn this corner and there's a door that's sort of partially ajar, and you hear somebody walking away, and you see a figure move past the door, but by the time you get there, you can't see them anymore.
Right.
And then when you get into sort of this main foyer area, you have, actually reminds me of, I think, the original house, where like you have this big open floor with a chandelier in the middle, and then there's a winding stairway, and then there's like a walkway, balcony sort of thing at the top that has rooms going off that. And so when you're out there, again, you can hear people, you can hear someone walking, but you can't see them. So there's one point that I played through this twice. The first time I played through it, I ended up dying, because you can actually get killed in the demo before you finish it. the first time I played it, I had to go into this downstairs area where it's like, okay, so I grabbed a ring or something that I needed to open a door upstairs so I could get the final key. And when you come out of there, you clearly hear somebody walking up the steps. But again, it's like they're kind of ahead of you, and you start thinking like, well, they're not really here. It's just, of course, the sound design. But tonight when I played it just before the show, I was running through it because I knew where everything was and I knew where things would and wouldn't jump out at me. And I ran out of that room and ran up the stairs, and I actually did catch up to the woman that was walking around in the house. I couldn't catch her enough for her to turn around, and she did finally disappear when she went around a corner. But I thought it was pretty cool. It's like, oh, wow, you actually can see her, not just hear her, which I thought was all they were doing, was just sort of audio cues and things like that. But I mean, I'll play this. I really enjoyed Resident Evil 7, and I've never been a huge Resident Evil fan. I keep meaning to go back and play the remakes of the originals, but yeah, I loved Resident Evil 7, so I'm all in on 8 for sure. And like I said, this wasn't much of a demo. That's why they're calling it a visual demo. I think there's another demo actually coming out, like a more gameplay centric demo coming out soon.
And that comes to all platforms, not just PS5. This was a PS5 exclusive thing.
Yeah. So, but I'm in. Sure.
Nice.
Be buying that.
Cool.
I'll have to download that and freak out and never play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Was that it?
That's it.
All right, Phil.
Yes.
What do you got for us?
Well, nothing new or interesting. So it's a good thing we're ending on me. But
absolutely.
No, I have not played really anything terribly new or exciting this week. Played dove back into Picross S5 because I'm trying to finish off all those. I'm actually very close to finishing off all the main Picross puzzles in that. Okay. So such a good game. Hopefully the Sega one comes out soon, since I'm getting close to finishing up this one.
You know what? I'm really close to finishing the Super Nintendo game.
Oh, good.
I'm on level S of each of those.
Oh, nice.
There are a ton of puzzles in that cartridge.
Yes, there are. Man. And this you're playing the Wario's Picross as well on there?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, good.
So I think I have 10 puzzles of each. So 10 Wario puzzles and 10 Mario puzzles left.
Nice. Yeah. It's a good game. Very good game. I've certainly been playing Scott Pilgrim some more. I actually finished it. Did one playthrough as Scott. So now I just need to play through it 6 more times, I think.
Say, how many playable characters are there in that version?
Well, you have the 4 main, the 4 original characters. You have the 2 DLC characters, and then when you
who are the DLC characters? Knives and
Wallace.
Wallace, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Because you got Scott, Ramona, Kim, and Steven,
right?
Stills. And then you got Wallace and Knives as the DLC characters. But if you play through it with the 4 original characters, if you beat it with the 4 core characters, you unlock Nega Scott.
But man, that's too bad that young Neil was left out.
Yeah, well, what does he do?
Just saying.
What does young Neil do?
Like young Neil.
He
becomes Neil.
Yeah, well, that's true. That is true. Got to save something for the sequel?
He takes over for Scott, and Scott's a bit of a dick. You don't want to be in a band with him.
A bit.
Yeah, a lot of a dick.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people, people are talking about Scott Pilgrim again, of course. And a lot of people seem surprised when they realize that Scott's not
he really is.
He's not really he's the protagonist.
He's the hero,
but he's not really a good guy.
But it's not because he's just a good guy.
He's an awful person. That's kind of the point of the whole story, is that Scott is terrible.
Yeah.
But I just finished it with Scott, so now I'm kind of starting to go through it with some of the other characters, and it's such a great game. And for as much as I played that game, and I played through that game I certainly finished it with the 4 main characters back in the day. I don't know if I ever finished it with the DLC characters, but it's been 10 years since I played that game, so I kind of forgot how a lot of the later stages went, and it's spoilers for Scott Pilgrim game, spoilers for a 10-year-old game, but
nobody cares.
I had forgotten that the end of the game is basically just like a riff on the Ninja Turtles game, where you end up in like a Technodrome style level that has robots and laser beams and stuff. I mean, it just feels like a Technodrome stage from the Turtles games.
Okay.
And it ends with like a little Mega Man 2 homage, which
Nice.
I had completely forgotten about. But yeah, it's such a great game. I'm looking forward to playing through it several more times. I have figured out a nice pattern, I think, for allowing me to get through it as efficiently as possible. Because it's a tough game. And obviously, as we talked about, the main strategy is choosing which power-ups to purchase in order to get your character strong. And I think I figured out a good way to...
But it accumulates, right? Like when you power up and then you play again, you keep your power-ups, don't you?
Not if you play as a different character.
No, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, playing as a single character, like theoretically, you're eventually going to be powerful enough that you should be able to get through the game.
Oh yeah,
right?
I mean, my Scott character his stats are completely maxed out right now.
Okay.
So if I play through it as him, I'm kind of tearing through the game because I'm
right.
All my stats are maxed.
Okay.
But if I start playing it as Kim, she is super weak again. So it's just you have to kind of repeat whatever steps you took. But what you got to do is there's a little grinding involved. Involved. But yeah, what you do, the opening stage, the whole snowy streets of Toronto stage, play through it twice. Just play through it, go back, play through it again. As long as you beat all the bad guys, collect all the coins, take out little secret passages where you get more coins, you should have enough money by the time you reach the end of your second go through that level. You go into Wallace has a little secret shop down in the tunnel right before the end of the stage, and you can purchase the what's it called, the bionic arm, I think. He has an item that he's selling. It's like $130, but it boosts your
Canadian, so like
Canadian,
$12
yeah,
American.
Canadian.
Yeah.
But it boosts your strength stat by like 50, which
That's pretty powerful.
is very substantial in this game. So you will suddenly be significantly stronger. You'll be able to wipe out bad guys very, very quickly. And then you just save your money until you have like the $500 saved up to pay off Scott's late fees at the video store. Because once you do that, then the video store starts selling movies that are like $5 each, but they are also boost your stats very, very quickly. So you can, for cheap, once you get those video fees paid off, you can max out your character very quickly. And that's what I'm going to be doing with all these other characters. Such a great game. I also, I pre-purchased a game.
And you never do that.
I do that.
Like you at all.
Almost never do that.
I do that.
Almost never.
I do that.
It's rare.
Quite frequently. I mean, I'll order a game from Amazon before it comes out all the time.
Lego Star Wars. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
I have that. Yeah, I've had Lego Star Wars pre-ordered for months now, and who knows when that's coming out.
True.
But I digitally pre-ordered a game,
which you almost never do.
Almost never, except when I can on every occasion when I am allowed to. I will. I have pre-ordered a game called Cyber Shadow which comes out on January 26th, Tuesday, which is probably, if you're listening to this podcast, it's already out. But as of us recording it on the 24th, it is still available for pre-order. Cyber Shadow, which is the new game. Have you seen this game? Have you heard about this game?
It's published by Yacht Club, but the developer is not Yacht Club. They're just helping them.
Right.
It's like a single developer did this game, and it's NES style action game where you are a ninja.
Yeah, it's in the classic 8-bit style, much like the Scott Pilgrim game, like your favorite Atari classics.
Yep. It looks cool. It looks super cool.
It does. It looks it's got kind of a Ninja Gaiden-ish vibe going on there. Yeah, it definitely, it looks really good. It looks like
it's on I hate to ruin your day there, but it's also going to be, I think, on Xbox Game Pass at launch.
Yeah.
You could have gotten it for free.
Yeah, but I mean, I can play it on my Switch. So
okay, that's true. That's true.
But
it's going to be on Game. I think it's a Game Pass game.
Is it on Game Pass? Well, then that's great.
I think so.
Great.
Although who knows? Maybe this is a Fall Guys situation, and I've just spoken out of turn.
Maybe, perhaps you have.
When do you ever do that?
Not gonna be. I thought I read that it was going to be on Game Pass.
Really?
Yeah.
Cyber Shadow Game Pass.
January 26th. Yes.
Leaps to Game Pass, according to news.xbox.com. Is this a reputable site when it comes to Xbox news?
Extremely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
so it's on Game Pass.
It's on Game. If you are an Xbox user with Game Pass, congratulations, friend. You can play this game.
Preload it.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
So I got it on my Switch just because I like the versatility of the Switch.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I.e., I want to play Cyber Shadow while I'm pooping.
Jesus.
As the game creators intended, I will have you know.
They want you to evacuate your bowels while you are disemboweling baddies.
Ah, see? Someone's read the back of the box copy.
I wrote the back of the box copy.
Void your bowels while you disembowel. Cyber Shadow.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. We will have we'll talk about this more next week.
It looks cool though.
I will play it. It does look. It actually looks really fantastic. So, and yeah, it's being I guess is just published by Yacht Club.
Published by Yacht Club, yeah.
Games, which are who they are, of course, the Shovel Knight people.
Yes.
So there you go.
This is the first game that they're publishing, though, right? That they didn't make.
I think that's right. Yeah,
is that
I think
correct?
You're right.
That might be be correct. So, but it looks great. It's got that real NES feel,
which is so important.
Yes,
in a video game,
in games these days. Yeah,
absolutely.
But yeah, that's really about it. I've just been doing that.
All right.
Well,
I guess that means it's time for tweets.
Allow me to void my throat there real quick.
Gross.
Yikes.
Yeah. Tweedly deedly dee, a tweedly tweet, a tweet, a tweet, tweet.
All right, let's do this one from Hacker Alias Insipid Ghost, who says, "You guys are very retro focused by way of your experience in games coverage and interestes. Do you think
it just means we're old?"
Yeah. Nice of you to say it that way.
You're old.
Yeah.
Do you think the industry has changed for the better over time? Interpret that how you like. Has the industry changed for the better?
I think from a standpoint of the types of games that come out, absolutely. Because so many more genres are represented now, and there's so many more ways to play.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, to the point that you can play on your handheld, your mobile device if you want, and you still have great selection. I'm not necessarily into a lot of that stuff, and I'm not into the free to play, but like stuff like the like Fortnite and that sort of thing. I mean, there's just so many different types of games to play now, and it's so easy. They're so accessible now compared to
not only that, but there are so
were.
many different communities and that have just grown up around subgenres of game, right? Like you see the Smash Brothers reaction videos when a new character is revealed there, and then you see like the European equivalent of it with Farming Simulator, where they introduced John Deere vehicles and machinery, and it's the same kind of reaction. It's like surprise and delight, but from an audience that you don't really think an audience necessarily exists there, but it does. And people who are super into strategy games and there are all these different genres that I think wouldn't have like if the industry was the same as it was back in the late 90s, a lot of those genres wouldn't exist on the level that they do now. And we get a lot of Japanese games that would never
absolutely
in the US come here. We were talking about that a couple of weeks ago with the Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythm Adventure games.
The need to import games has practically disappeared.
That's right. Yeah,
I mean, it really has.
Yeah,
I mean, not completely, of course.
Every now and again, there will be something that you'll have to import. Kamen Rider.
Yeah, exactly. Way less often than it used to be, though. I mean, back in 32, 64-bit era, I was probably buying an import game every month, maybe every 2 months.
Yeah.
I was buying a lot of it. I
bought a lot of import games too.
Yeah, I mean, even kind of tail end of the 16-bit era. I was getting some Super Famicom games and things like that.
Stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I had
imported PlayStation stuff.
Ton of import PS1 games.
Games that would never come out here.
Yeah,
and a lot of them still have never come out here.
Right. But that's it's not really a problem these days.
No, which is great.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, I would say, is the rise of the indie developer.
Absolutely.
Oh,
been a massively wonderful thing for the industry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which
a lot of innovation
unheard of 20 years ago.
A lot of innovation, a lot of these sort of genres that I was talking about, they're like subgenre communities. Like a lot of those are independent developers that made that stuff.
Yeah.
And the market for them exists because those independent developers wanted to play those games, wanted to make those games. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. All right. Let's do this one from hacker alias Frunkus Baldwin, who says, what novel would you like to see turned into a video game? Please include the genre as well. Example being Animal Farm fighting game.
Well, Animal Farm, you would want to be like a Farmville kind of thing. I would imagine.
That would be interesting.
Sure.
How do you envision that playing out?
You all the animals are equal, but some of them are a little more equal.
Yeah,
and a
little more equal. I love it.
It's a great book. I mean,
Among Us, Lord of the Flies.
Oh, Greg, I didn't really come up with that concept. The
No, I know that. I just love that you used it. That's all. I mean, that's one of my favorite books. I'm not
that clever.
Yeah.
My goodness.
But yeah.
Lord of the Flies Among Us.
Lord of the Flies be a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fahrenheit 451 game.
I've never read that.
Where you're going around burning books. Or you're one of the robot dogs chasing down people. I really enjoyed Fahrenheit 451 back in the day.
Okay.
What
else you got?
What other novels?
What other books exist?
Yeah.
That's the wrong question for
Crap,
this podcast.
I don't know if I didn't realize I was going to be asked to talk
What about
about
Ready
a
Player
book.
One?
Yes. Yes.
Ready Player One video game.
Yeah.
What's the genre?
I just see it as kind of one of those level randomizer ROM hacks.
It's just a Super Mario Brothers
Yeah.
ROM with like Gundam in it.
Yeah.
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 I could see it. Yeah,
That's about
that is happening.
Oh man.
Uh-huh. That all we got? We're very well read. As a podcast.
Trying to think of what books I've read. Back in like high school.
You also don't want to be super pretentious and just, call it all the classics and nothing else.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, maybe I don't want to be.
Let's talk about what Gatsby would be.
There we go.
What sort of game would that be?
I was actually talking with my wife about The Great Gatsby earlier today.
Oh yeah.
Where I read Great Gatsby in high school. It was one of the books we had to read in high school.
Yeah.
I remember absolutely nothing about it.
Me too. Nothing.
As I told her,
I hated it at the time.
Yeah, I remember not liking it either. The only things I remember about The Great Gatsby was that there was a character named Gatsby.
Mm-hmm. Was he great?
He was not the main character
of the book. I don't know. I'm thinking probably not. And then afterward, I mean, she told me that it was about like, I guess the bulk of the book is like a flashback, like Gatsby. I guess he dies or something. I think it's like a
spoilers.
Citizen. Well, it's like a Citizen Kane kind of thing.
Spoiler.
Where like, dies right at the beginning, and then it's like a flashback of like, ooh, let's look at the life of the great, and there's a green light involved.
Okay, that's all you got.
There's a green light in The Great Gatsby. I don't know what the green light is for, or what it represents.
What's it a metaphor for?
I believe it was on like a coastline. Like you can maybe see it from while you were out at sea.
Uh-huh.
That's all I remember about The Great Gatsby.
Okay.
Anyway, I think that should be a platformer.
The Gianna Citrus clone?
Yeah. At the end of every level, you hit a button and it turns on the green light.
Instead of the flag like in Mario?
Yeah, and then the words come up and says, "Great job."
By like Gatsby.
Great would be underlined.
Great job.
Yeah. Have little stars around it to let you know that it's tying into the novel.
Just like all those novel tie-in video games you remember from your
there's a Dr.
days.
and Jekyll and Mr. Hyde game on the NES.
There was, that's right. Yeah.
So it's not without precedent.
True, I suppose.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do this one.
The Son of Sniglets count as a novel because I have a great idea for a Son of Sniglets game.
I guess so. Wow. Vicarious Alaska Tilt asks, why have you not watched The Expanse on Amazon Prime?
The what?
The Expanse.
My wife loves The Expanse.
Yeah.
Yeah. People were yelling at us because we were saying that there's nothing good on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
The Expanse is on Amazon Prime.
And apparently it's good.
I've watched the first couple episodes and it seemed good.
Mm-hmm.
But my wife loves it. She's watched. I don't think she's watched the most recent season.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she absolutely adores that show. It's it didn't click with me the way it clicked with her because I believe those are based on some books. Those might be based on books, and she's probably read them because she's a big sci-fi nerd. So
okay.
It didn't. I mean, it seemed good.
Didn't click with you,
but it didn't click with me to the point where I was like, "Boy, I got to sit down and watch this whole thing."
Yeah,
I'm not saying that's a knock on its quality though. That's a knock on me.
Yeah,
because it is apparently quite good.
I have heard that.
Yeah,
I have not watched any of it,
but
And all right, let's finish this out.
Okay,
we'll finish the episode with this one. Vicarious, I finally watched, who says, what's your favorite controller?
Like ever?
Yes.
The Genesis 6-button controller.
Genesis.
Is it the Japanese Saturn controller?
It's a pretty close second.
I mean, I hate to say that my favorite controller is probably still the Japanese Saturn controller, but boy,
that's a really good controller.
It's a very, very good
and
controller.
Sega with those two controllers had the D-pad down, especially
and I mean, in
an era where fighting games were so important. It was
Yeah.
easy to play fighting games with that D-pad.
Yeah,
That's correct. Yeah.
The 6-button Genesis controller is also really damn good.
Mhm.
I mean, I almost feel silly
Yeah.
though because it doesn't have the analog or anything like that. But boy, a Japanese Saturn pad is really, really good.
Mhm.
Yeah. You know, I think a lot of people hate on the GameCube gamepad. I liked it back in the day.
Really?
I'm not going to say that's my favorite controller, but I liked it. I liked the gamepad.
That
GameCube controller.
GameCube controller just
Well, I mean, it was weird. They were trying to do something different
with its goofy shape and stupid button layout. I mean,
yeah. Is it wrong to say Xbox controller? That seems to be just the standard pad now for so many.
the Xbox controller is very
games.
nice.
You mean the second one that came out? Yeah,
The second one, yeah.
It's
a good controller.
The Xbox controller
And they've stuck with it for quite a while now.
Yeah.
I mean, they've made subtle changes to the Xbox pad over time, but I think I prefer that controller. Now, although the PS5 controller is very good as well.
Yeah, I like the PS5 controller.
Yeah. If there's one thing I would change about the Xbox Series, like the new controller they have, is man, that D-pad is really clicky. It is loud. If you want to like play games,
Never touched the D-pad on that thing.
and not not interrupt, like if you live in a small space with other people who are sleeping and you want to play a video game, you really can't use the D-pad on that.
Go to bed, man.
Yeah.
I will. Yeah. I'm an early riser. Anyway,
I would imagine you'll want to use the D-pad when you play Cyber Shadow.
Cyber Shadow. Yeah. I probably will.
Game Pass. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Mhm.
I think that's it. I think that's the show.
Is it?
I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Okay. For as good as that Japanese Saturn controller was, that US one that they brought out here,
Yeah.
Ooh, that was poopy.
that was
That was
bad
piece of
bad
crap.
controller.
That was a terrible D-pad. My
Yeah.
God.
I mean,
With
everything-
And
the
terrible
weird
shoulder
raised
buttons.
ends, and it was just a bad
it was
controller.
really bad. It's really bad. And I hated how the Dreamcast cord came out of the bottom.
Yeah.
That was stupid.
It never bothered me, but I know. a lot
But
of
you
people
could
don't like that.
you could
Yeah, I know.
do the thing.
Yeah,
at
I
the
know.
top,
You could wrap it
loop it
around
through.
and clip it into place. No, that's stupid.
clip it into place.
That's stupid.
okay.
That's bad design.
All right. then.
I don't disagree, but
No.
I'm just saying you could have done that. The
Yes.
cord was too short also.
I guess what
Anyway,
we're saying is the Dreamcast was a terrible system.
Dreamcast sucked.
That's not true at all.
No, although I never
You know what
thought-
though? The Saturn was
What's that?
better. Yep.
What? What?
I fully think.
I mean,
that.
I love the Saturn,
No, I think
Love
the
the
Dreamcast
Saturn.
had better games.
but
I'm coming from a standpoint of going back and playing them now.
yeah,
I feel like the Saturn games hold up better than
Really?
the Dreamcast games.
like which one? I mean,
You know
which
what? I
one?
think
Give
one of
me,
the
give
biggest
me some
problems with
specific ones.
I don't know. I was going to say I think the biggest problem that I have now is going back and playing Saturn games that where you had that single analog stick,
Mhm.
yeah.
and the Saturn controller wasn't great.
Right.
It wasn't just the wire sticking out of the bottom. It was a good design. It was poorly made. Like the
Wait, are you saying
analog stick.
You saying Dreamcast?
The Dreamcast, sorry.
Okay.
The analog stick, the hard plastic analog stick sucked
Oh, okay. Yeah.
on that controller.
Yeah.
But yeah, just I guess being so used to, there were too many games on that system. I find where I wanted a second analog stick now.
Sure.
And I don't have one. Whereas in the Saturn, you didn't run into that problem. So I think it was
Because
just
there were
more
no
of a-
analog games.
Right. I think it was more of a late 90s 32-bit games for me have held up better than sort of that transition. Dreamcast was such a transitional system where
Yeah.
it was awesome and the games looked amazing, but things changed so much and have changed so much when the PS2 was introduced that it just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't hold the same level of reverence for the Dreamcast library that a lot of people seem to. And that's,
I thought the
as a big
Dreamcast library
Sega
was
fan,
great.
but it was still great, but I just
the
don't.
problem with games between 1999 and like 2004 or 5 is that everybody was still kind of learning how to make 3D games that felt good or that played well. Like I feel like there's so many games that like get it almost right, but then like the camera's bad or that like there's some hitch to it where it just doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know.
We
Yeah.
talk about how some NES games, especially like Mario Brothers, Mega Man, those hold up really well. I think there's a case to be made for like early 2000s games that don't hold up well at all either.
Yeah, like I say, I just think it's. I'm not saying Dreamcast is bad. I'm not saying the library is bad. But speaking as someone who goes back and plays a lot of old games, I don't get super excited about playing many old Dreamcast games as I do about playing NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, PlayStation, Saturn. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it is about them. There's just something that feels off about them.
Interesting. Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1 Podcast on the Twitters, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Seward.
I'm sure I wrote one of those a while back.
Yeah, you probably did. Yeah. You will find Generation 16 episodes.
Yeah, so I just released one last week, just covering the Astro City Mini.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm back working on the episode that I was working on before that. So
I watched it and I share your love of Bonanza Brothers.
Bonanza Brothers is a fun game.
Bonanza Brothers is great.
Yeah.
You
know what isn't?
What?
Columns.
Oh,
and
so many column variants.
And columns too.
Yeah.
Columns was never good.
No. I will agree with that.
Was never good.
I will agree with that.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Puyo Puyo is much better.
Puyo Puyo is much better.
Yeah, that's something we can all agree on.
I still don't really like Puyo Puyo. I don't like it because I suck at it.
Yeah.
But it's a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Columns
I mean,
the combo system and the matching system has to it has to click with you. And for me, Puyo Puyo takes a lot longer for that system to click.
Right.
Than like any other puzzle game.
Yeah. No,
but it's like we love Tetris Stack or Panel de Pon, but for a lot of people that never clicks for them, and they don't understand. Like people don't understand why Panel de Pon is so revered.
Yeah,
I don't understand those people, man. Those people are weird. Anyway, there's also. You find on our website our contact information. You'll find show notes and links to all the things that we talked about during the episode. So if you missed the name of a game or whatnot, you can get it on the show notes. Just like that. Lickety split.
That's nice.
And there's also a link in those show notes to our Discord server where you can discuss this episode with us and other listeners.
Those show notes, by the way, that is a service that we at the Player One podcast supply to you for free
of charge.
Yeah,
basically.
That is our gift to you every week. Show notes, man.
Whether you want them or not.
Yeah.
Links.
You're getting them links. Free links.
Free.
If you would like to subscribe to the Player One podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up your favorite podcast listening application. We're also on Stitcher Radio. We're on Spotify. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch video archives of past episodes or watch us live most weeks on the youtubes.com/P1 podcast. Follow our Twitter account at P1 podcast to find out when we are doing our next live show. Typically, it is Sunday nights at 5:30 specific time. So mark your calendars and join us then, won't you?
And maybe the chat will be working next time.
Sometimes our chat's working now.
It is?
It's working now.
Oh,
it's
wow.
Now.
Look at that.
Yeah. People are talking.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah. Okay. So, join us for that. If you like what you've heard, and how could you could head over to patreon.com/P1 podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. You know what? Maybe we'll take that money for the show notes. Maybe the show notes aren't as free as we've been saying. Maybe we're using your Patreon funds to compensate us for our show notes. Written painstakingly, curated every week. Only the best show notes by one Christopher Robin Johnston, the show note master.
Apparently.
Doesn't he deserve a little compensation? The answer, of course, is probably not. Your Patreon funds, of course, do not pay for the show notes. Those are always free, friends, but it does help keep our zooming, keeps the show running with all those little expenses that podcasts rack up over time. And of course, if you are a Patreon supporter of the $5 tier,
cheap,
you gain access to a special weekly bonus episode that we record right after we record this. Right. We play games, have fun, crack wise, doing all the things we can't do on the normal show because people are listening. The government is watching. But we know ways around that. And we have a game this week, CJ?
That we do. It is a Game Fan review game.
Oh, God, not again.
Boy. Okay.
Get ready.
So if you want to hear us read old issues of Game Fan and try and figure out what game is being reviewed based on just the review text alone, friends, it's harder than you'd think.
It's true.
It really is. Yep. Join us for that. And of course, if you have a couple bucks left over, head over to generation-16.com where you'll find the Patreon link to help support Greg's Stewart's outstanding, and it is outstanding, web series about North America's favorite runner-up, the Sega Genesis.
Thank you, Philip. And yeah, if you support the show to the level of $5 per episode,
also cheap,
you get access to weekly video logs, which include sort of me going over the process of creating an episode, talking about what I've been researching. Also, usually I've been doing some sort of short form book reviews on reference books that I use for the show, and been showing off updates on the game room downstairs.
Nice.
That's what this week's was all about, actually. So yeah,
very cool.
You get access to those every week.
Cool. And of course, you only charge when a new Generation 16 episode comes out.
Per episode. So yeah.
So it's like
3 times a year.
So it's like you're getting all that extra stuff for free. Wow.
Yes.
Excellent. Wow. It's like you're stealing from Greg, everyone. How could you not do that?
And I'm happy about it.
Yeah, he welcomes it. CJ.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Phil. Of course. Gregory.
You.
Thank you as well.
Thank you, Philip.
That's very kind of you to say. And of course, a big old thanks to all of you, our wonderful listeners, every single one of you. Please continue being safe. Please keep wearing your masks. Keep taking care of yourself, taking care of your family, your loved ones, your friends. We will